Hello everybody, welcome to Recovery Lab TV. My name is Chris, I'm your coach and sports therapist, and welcome to another video. This video is all about T2, transition 2 on your Ironman triathlon, where you will be popping out this lovely little red bag and getting all of your equipment out of there, okay? So this video is aimed for people who have never done an Ironman before and they're wondering what these bags are for and what transitions are all about. So this transition 2, if you will, you've literally come in off the bike, you're about to get all of your bike gear off, you've racked your bike, you've run into the tent, you've got the bags where you had from T1, and then just above it or below it, depending on how it's set up, you've got your red bag. From there, you're going to start taking off all of your cycling equipment, your helmets, potential glasses if you've been wearing glasses, any sort of cycling shoes, if you want to change your socks, whatever gear you're chucking off is coming off and going straight into this bag. Now, how you pack this bag is similar to how you would pack your bag in T1. Ideally, you want whatever is coming out to go straight on you, in kind of order, if you will. So then the last thing at the bottom is the last thing you then put on. Now for me, you are having your trainers in your transition bag. Now that's probably going to be, for me, the last thing that goes on my feet. For me, I typically have a cap, a running hat in there that I'll quickly slide on and chuck on my head, having taken my helmet off. I will, similar to transition 1, I will have a little food bag or Ziploc bag with some chamois cream in. Now the reason why I do that is to literally top up my chamois that I've been using throughout the day. I store it inside the Ziploc bag, and what I then do is will flip the bag inside out, and then I have my little glove, undo my tri-suit, or if I'm wearing 2 singlets, I'll just pop my hand down, wipe the necessary areas, and then it allows me to keep going and basically stopping any sort of resistance or friction from rubbing and my skin from hurting me. Another thing people have done in the past is used kind of body glide or neck balms for their kind of bigger bits, if you will. So like the lats, if they find that they chafe and they wear a tri-suit with a kind of a vest top. Another thing that if you're a larger person that you might want to do is run the inner parts of your thighs with that kind of body glide or kind of neck balm that you would typically use for your wetsuit. I've had people use it in these bags as well for these problem areas and the inner thighs as well, just so it kind of reduces that rubbing and it's one less thing to kind of take care of and kind of worry about on that run, whether it's a half marathon, a marathon, or anything shorter. Okay, one thing that you would have already been wearing is your race belt. Now, if you have been on the bike, typically it's around the back of you, okay, showing your number off at the back, and it's really important that you spin it around and it's now on your front with your number inside. Now this is a no pins bib. I like this one just because you can actually slide your race number inside, and as you can see by here, it's fully sealable and it's just pops in this little kind of poly pocket, if you will. I found these absolutely brilliant. You can get ones made with kind of little gel holders, like little ringlets on the sides. I decided not to have those for whatever reason. Sometimes I've regretted the option and wish I kind of chose one just to have the option, but I chose not to have it just because typically back then I didn't really use gels. Now from there, I tend to, especially previously when I was kind of doing only 1 or 2 races a year, I always bought myself a brand new pair of socks. Now the reason why I did that is because for me, the psychology of having a brand new pair of socks, if you're having a really bad day, you kind of need that pickup. And I promise you, if you are hurting, the little luxuries of putting a brand new pair of socks on your feet, there's nothing better. You know, if your feet are battered, if your body is battered, and you've got that kind of nice new sock feeling sliding into your trainers, it's a great feeling that is going to really help boost your morale, especially if you have a funky pair of socks, something that you're kind of like ready to go to war in, that sets you off out the door, and you're able to mentally be in a better place than potentially you were if you were coming off the bike and you're not necessarily happy, or you're kind of soaking wet and you want to change your socks over. Having a fresh pair is always a great idea. Now, what they tried recently in Ironman Weymouth last year was taking your own cups with you to try and reduce the amount of wastage that they were having on an Ironman course. So they tried it in. Now, naturally, for those type of races, you would get your little collapsible cup, and then you naturally use it as and when on the race course. Depending on what they plan on doing in future will depend on if you see more of these little cups in your kind of race packs as you're signing up and picking them up in registration on the weekend. But yeah, if this is becoming the new thing, then you will need one of these, or one of your own, especially if you've previously done a lot of trail runs. You'll know a lot about these because in ultramarathons, this is quite a big thing already. Now, one thing I tend to have is a little nutritional race pack, and inside this little silicone bag I have a little towel that I could dry my feet with. Similar to T1, if you have if you know that it's going to be a soaking wet day and you are going to change your socks, it might be worth getting some talcum powder and just drying your feet off with a little bit of talcum powder, a little mini microfiber towel. It does great things for your feet, and although you're going to go back out and get soaking wet anyway, it's good to keep good foot health, because those are the things that you're about to abuse on that half marathon or marathon, depending on the distances of your race. I also have a sports nutritional drink that I would drink and just kind of get down. And then I'll also have, depending on where I've been nutritionally on the bike, either a gel or a bar that will help me coming out of transition and going onto my run. Now, your nutrition naturally is going to be subjective to you, and depending on what you're trying and what you've been using in your training, which is incredibly important, stick to what you've been practicing, because anything new on race day, and I see it quite a lot, using the kind of nutritional tables that you see potted around the kind of bike course and the run course, people potentially trying new things and it affecting their digestive systems because it's something different and they're already fatigued. So practice with the things that are on your race course if you're going to choose to use the nutrition on the race course well into your training, so you can acclimatize your digestive system to those foods when under stress in a training environment, okay? And then last but not least, I'll be chucking my trainers on. Now, these laces are pretty quick and easy to do up. However, some of you guys are gonna have those quick zip tie type laces, those kind of bungee cord laces that I've had in previous shoes, in my Vivos, for example. That literally you just squeeze, slide it down, and you're done and you're on the run. Some of you I've run in the first couple of years Nike free runs, so they were literally like slip-on socks. There were no laces, so whatever shoes you're chucking on, and then you're out the door. Typically on the run, now this is a little bit hit and miss, but if you're being told to take painkillers, then just be careful when you're taking and what you're taking. By no means am I a doctor or a registered kind of pharmacist, but what I will say is stay away from ibuprofens. They have far more research when it comes to taking ibuprofen type medicines and anti-inflammatory type medicines and the impacts it has on your heart in race conditions If you're going to take anything, stick to your paracetamol based products and your kind of painkillers in that sense, right? But typically what I would do is speak to your registered doctors if you are going to be taking this stuff. Far too many people start becoming unwell or collapsing and end up needing medical intervention because of taking random things because their friends have told them or someone suggested this or that and everything, right? So just be careful. If you are going to go down that route, make sure you get medical advice that know your medical history and naturally stay within the safety limits, all right? But yeah, that's one of those things that are typically a taboo in this kind of subject, and by no means am I recommending you take them or not take them. Just do your research around it if you are going to go down that route on your Ironman run course, okay? I know there's a lot of people with kind of bad knees or bad backs, or by then they're already in the hurt locker and they want something just to take the edge off. Just make sure you seek the right advice when doing so, okay? So that is the T2 video. I hope you I've learned a few things. I know some of these things certainly helped me in the past, especially the chamois cream in the bag is an absolute lifesaver, and it's something that I fully recommend. If you have any sorts of things that you do, any sorts of advice that you kind of think that will help others, by all means use the comment section in this video. Chuck it in. It's there to help everyone that way, and by all means have an amazing race. Let me know what you're racing and where you're racing, and good luck. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. Take care.